So have you spoken to the PM about increasing JobSeeker in relation to this?
Look, in terms of what we want, we're going to make our position public. As I say, we will work through. We saw the legislation we've seen the proposals at the same time as everyone else did. We're now responding to them, digesting them. We've released a couple of sets of parliamentary budget office analysis that we've got quickly turned around. Our job is to now look over all of this and then put forward an alternative proposal as it comes to Parliament. And we've already put a couple of ideas on the table, and we've said Labor's got to justify why they're giving 3 times as much to people at the top as they are to people in the middle. And Labor's got to justify why it wouldn't be fairer, for example, to get dental into Medicare or fund a rent freeze to help to give people permanent relief who are suffering through Labor's housing and rental crisis.
Is there some irony here in that some of the seats where the Greens do best, like your own seat of Melbourne, have some of the highest numbers of people on big salaries?
Look, I've also got the most public housing of any electorate here in Victoria out of all the federal electorates. And I mean, people know that one of the things we need in Australia is to make our country more equal, and that in the crisis that we're in, it's everyday people under Labor who are being asked to bear the brunt of the war on inflation. I mean, Labor's using everyday people as cannon fodder in the war on inflation by saying interest rates can go up as much as you want and you can have unlimited rent rises, and it's everyday people who are bearing the cost. And I think people, whatever their income, look at that and say, oh, hang on, actually that's a bit unfair. And we don't want to go down the US road of becoming an unequal society where the gap between the haves and the have-nots is huge. And I think everyone has an interest in making our country more equal and ensuring everyone's looked after. And as I say, I will fight hard for those low-income earners who live in public housing and who live in other places in my electorate to get the best deal we can.
Adam Bandt, nearly out of time. Just a couple of quick things. In order to get support for the government's IR reforms, or get your support, you're pushing this right to disconnect provision. Tony Burke was on about it earlier. You probably heard him. Is he doing enough in terms of what you want here?
Look, the Greens are pushing for people to have the right to log off and to switch off when they clock off. I mean, basically, out of hours, you shouldn't have to respond to texts or emails unless it's part of your contract and you're getting remunerated for it or you're getting some other benefit. So we've been having good discussions with the government. We've put some models on the table. We've released legislation to the Parliament. We want to see people have that right to family time, to private time, to work time. It's critical that law keeps up with technology, and it just hasn't at the moment. We're pleased to see the government taking this seriously, and we've had good discussions with the government, and we're going to keep pushing for it because I think too many people are under an enormous amount of stress. And there's a lot of unreasonable contact that happens for people that makes it hard to have good time with your family or to just recharge for work the next day. And we want to make sure that the law keeps up with technology.
And just finally, in terms of the Greens' position on the Palestinian issue, you're looking to move another motion in the Senate to oppose the war. Do you not accept that after the October 7 attacks, there was little choice for Israel but to seek out the terrorists?
Well, Labor and the Parliament have backed the invasion of Gaza. They did that last year. We opposed it and said it would lead to a humanitarian catastrophe. Tragically, that's what we're seeing unfold in front of our eyes. Over 26,000 people have now been killed, and many of them are children. There is starvation, dehydration, they've run out of fuel. The health system is collapsing, if not collapsed, in many parts of Gaza. Labor must stop backing the invasion. So we will bring a motion to Parliament to reverse that decision that was taken by Labor and the Coalition last year to back the invasion. We have seen too much suffering and too much death now. Now, of course, we call for the release of the hostages. And that is something, those attacks were condemned and were condemned by everyone. but an invasion of 2 million civilians walled into an area half the size of Canberra was always going to lead to a humanitarian catastrophe and suffering. And now there is no more excuse. Labor has to stop backing the invasion, and we'll bring that to Parliament when Parliament resumes.
Greens leader Adam Bandt, thanks so much for your time this Sunday morning.